The Army has lifted the suspensions of the air crews seen flying two Apache helicopters by singer Kid Rock's home in Tennessee over the weekend. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth posted on X Tuesday, "No punishment, no investigation, carry on, patriots." Kid Rock posted this video, which by now you've no doubt seen on social media. He posted it Saturday, showing an Army chopper hovering outside his home by his pool while a second one flies by. NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Cubic joins us now. Courtney, I'm a little confused. Secretary Hegseth's post came just hours after the Army suspended the crews involved on those two aircraft. Have we heard anything else to explain why the secretary is now reversing the decision?
We have not, but it actually stands in pretty much in constant the way that the Secretary of Defense has spoken about how he will support warfighters, or the troops, as he calls them, warfighters, in the past. So he always talks about how he has the troops' backs. And Kate, I got to tell you, this tweet, as soon as I read it, I thought, okay, this is him carrying out, practicing what he preaches here as far as supporting the troops. But the reality is the situation was under administrative review because there were questions about whether this stunt was safe, not just for the pilots, but potentially for civilians. There are rules about how low aircraft are allowed to fly in a residential area, how close they should have gotten to that house. So the administrative review now apparently has been suspended as Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth reached down and interfered in something that, frankly, generally the Secretary of Defense would not get directly involved in, Kate.
And Courtney, President Trump also weighed in on the military helicopter flyby. What did he have to say?
Yeah, we were a little surprised to hear the President of the United States getting asked about two Apache helicopters in Tennessee and what they're doing. But here's a little bit about what he had to say about this entire incident.
Well, they probably shouldn't have been doing it. Yes, you're not supposed to be playing games, right? But I'd take a look at it. They like Kid Rock. I like Kid Rock. Maybe they were trying to defend him. I don't know.
Yeah, so the president put it very simply there, Kate, and that is they're not supposed to be playing games. And that's not just because of the possibility of offending someone here, but it's because of safety reasons. You know, taking a military helicopter, flying it low over a residential area, especially for something that was not any kind of a real training mission, there's risks involved in that. So, but again, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, he made a decision. He reached down into an unusual administrative review, and he said that it's officially suspended. And as he said, he told them to carry on and called the pilots patriots.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.